Welcome to the Aligned Ambitions Show, where we share women's entrepreneurial wisdom. I'm Larissa Russell. Oh, goodness, me trying to get through a script. This is why I do things live. Anyways, are you a woman starting or growing your online heart-centered business? Are you wanting to do things differently? Do you feel icky and about using manipulative marketing tactics and are ready to align your business with your ethics, values, and life goals? Then stick around for this conversation. Today, I have with me Cheryl Cooper of thecherylcooper.com. Cheryl is a Kajabi expert and business coach who loves infusing mindfulness into the tech world. After 25 years in corporate IT, burnout became her catalyst to trade global implementations for a more balanced life. Cheryl now does Kajabi web design and creates mindfulness workshops, seamlessly incorporating AI to help clients thrive in the digital age. Her passion? Empowering people, especially women, to harness mindfulness for personal and professional growth. Her mission? To weave mindfulness into the fabric of our workplaces and lives, fostering a resilient society where balance is an empowering reality. Okay.
Wow.
Wow. Welcome, Cheryl.
Who wrote that?
I don't know. Did ChatGPT?
It was me and Chat GPT. You could tell by the end of it, something with something on there. But yeah, it was me and Chat GPT.
Yeah. No, but it's very true. And
Mm-hmm.
so for those of you out there, Cheryl and I have been friends for years, and just she's an amazing person and woman. And so I'm so grateful to have her as our first guest. And so I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, Cheryl, and really what was the catalyst for change for you? So tell us a little bit about yourself and what was the catalyst for change in how you moved in business?
So there's been lots of catalysts for change, right? Let me back up and tell you about myself. Colorado girl, born and raised. I still call Denver, Colorado my home, even though I've been in Atlanta, Georgia for the last 23 years. This just made 23 years. Love the outdoors, love good food, good wine, good friends. That's the things that I thrive upon and helping other people succeed. My background is in IT. I did corporate IT management consulting and throughout the world for 25 plus years. And in probably around October 2021, I hit the wall. There were some conversations that were had between myself and one of the leaders in the organization I was working for. And the client said that they thought that I was too good for them or something along those lines, right? And I was like, what the? I'm not going to say that on your show. But I was like, are you kidding me? I want to be able to pour into this organization. I've got a plethora of knowledge. I'm a generalist, right? I've gone through lots of corporations worldwide and helped them implement systems. I want to share that with them. They were asking for me to do that. And then also in that time frame, the lady that I was working for, she was the top leader. She's told me, she pulled us aside and had a conversation one-on-one and said, hey, I want you to know I can be a bitch to work with. And I was like, I am so done with this because I'm about women's empowerment, right? Not about trying to outdo another woman or all of that in corporate America. I'm trying to shut down my computer because things are going on. And so at that point, I knew, I had been teetering, tottering besides side hustle to full-time entrepreneur, side hustle to full-time entrepreneur. And you guys were there along with me all the way. And I finally was like, it's time. It's time to trust and go on and take the big leap. And that was my catalyst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we knew it was time long before you took the lead. It's
Yes.
true.
Oh, Larissa, you know what else? I don't have my mic. Am I good?
You're good.
Okay.
You're good. It's too late now. You're good. Um,
Yeah. It's not too late. I could pull it from right behind me and plug it in, but I
no,
won't.
no,
Okay.
you're fine. You're fine. And it's true. I remember back then when you were going through the struggles and you were so frustrated, and you've had struggles off and on since you left because we get so caught in the, like we have to support ourselves doing this, right? And so it's the regular paycheck but I know you've struggled with that. And
you've coached me through, right? We're in a mastermind together, you all. And so Larissa is one of the most influential people in our mastermind. She's an amazing coach. And she and I, the last conversation we had was about overwhelm. And she was like, what would happen if? And I was like, oh, here we go. But it was one of those pivotal moments for me because I was like, you know what? Yeah. What if I didn't use the word overwhelm? What if I was just going to accept where I'm at and walk through it every single day and be grateful for it and take the steps forward to create the world that I want to live in? And that was a huge catalyst for me.
I love that. I love that. I have seen a shift in you. You catch yourself since then. That wasn't that long ago, but you have really taken that to heart, and you do catch yourself, knowing that you have the power. That you have the power.
Yeah, and we all do as women, right? Or as
Mm.
people, but we're really talking about women here, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all do, and there's something inside of us that seems to try and detour us from the amazing individuals that we truly are. And once you do the work, which is ongoing, but once you do the work, you start to understand how you can co-create success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Actually, I can. Thank you for asking. Um, there is an entrepreneur journey, right? And it's different for every single one of us.
Mm-hmm.
We may go through the dark night of the soul and then heartache and despair and illness to make us realize that we are called to do something special. Not everybody's called to be an entrepreneur because it's not an easy journey. But once you understand that you are, then things start to fall into place in a way that is kind of unimaginable when you pay attention. And so I said some keywords there. There's a journey, you have to pay attention, and then things will fall in place. But if you're not paying attention, it just continues to be a driving force that pushes you every day, and it's the anxiety and all of that will catch up with you and then wear you down. So
Yeah.
you have to pay attention and just be with it, sit with it, meditate about it, be mindful and mind your business as you move forward.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And as someone who, I mean, that's your specialty, mindfulness in the workplace. So how have you started to incorporate that to help you move forward?
Every day and night, I do meditations and affirmations. I lead mindfulness programs online with women, helping them to just reset and settle themselves into a day or a week. I do mindfulness walks almost every day. And you all hear me saying this, like this is multiple times throughout the day. What we don't do very well as individuals, as entrepreneurs, is sit our butts. No, we do very well is sit our butts down. What we don't do very well is get up and get from behind these computers and go out and look at nature. And if you look on my Instagram, you'll see me always out like, hey, it's Cheryl Cooper here. And today's mindfulness walk, I'm doing blah, blah, blah. That is generally after I've had a very stressful moment in my business day. But just the circle around my neighborhood keeps me grounded. And then, like I said before, doing the work. And when I say doing the work, it is about studying and understanding what mindfulness is. And that's being in the present moment, right here. Just be with it, whether it's being with your breath, whether it's being with your thoughts, or being outside or eating. There's so many different aspects of mindfulness. So I'm rambling sort of kind of because it's one of those things I love. When I was in corporate America, I would be so stressed out and sick to my stomach and call the EAP program, Employee Assistance Program, and ask them, can you help me? And they'd always tell me, well, you just need to practice mindfulness. And I'd be like, I don't have time. I'm in the middle of an implementation, this multi-million dollars on the line, blah, 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 blah. If I had listened to that, my life would have been a lot different in corporate America. But then there's also the other side of that. And there are truly the microaggressions that take place. And when you learn to practice mindfulness on a regular basis, you can figure out how to maneuver around those microaggressions instead of allowing them to eat you up, which is what I did. You can just kind of deflect them, go into your space where you just breathe or, take a breath and acknowledge that it's microaggressions. It has nothing to do with you, literally, and let it be, and then go on about your business, do what you need to do.
Yeah.
That
But
money.
sorry, Cheryl, would you have become the entrepreneur if you had done that mindfulness in corporate America? Would you have? I think this was your journey and you had to
I
learn
think
from
this
those
was my
lessons.
journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the bigger part of my journey is to take that lesson and put it back in corporate America
Mm-hmm.
and teach the individuals that are there, use that wisdom to help them survive. But I also believe that I've always been, since I was a child, a person that empowered women. I'd have little soul circles, as we call them now, at my house, and invite women to come and stay at my house for days. And we do a little mini retreat in my home. And we talk about empowerment and we do vision boards and write in our journals. Um, and so all of this has been part of the journey to get me to retirement age so that I can pour back into women across the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And, with all of the struggles that you went through in the first couple of years of, being a solopreneur, is it 2 years now? 2 years you've been doing? Year and a half? 2 years?
December 11th would be 2 years.
Yeah. With the, because I've seen those back and forth, back and forth. I feel like you kind of settled into what you really should be doing now. Does that feel correct?
That is correct. And
Mm-hmm.
I went kicking and screaming and fighting the whole way. But when I continued to apply for jobs and got nothing, which was a phenomenon for me, phenomenon for me, because I was always able to get a job in a week or two,
Mm-hmm.
just based on my skill set. And now that I'm older, I think that deflects my ability to get a job and the economy. And simply because God, Universe, Spirit, has said, you asked for this for many years. Go live. These are the direct words that I've heard. Go live the life that you asked me for. And it warms my heart. I almost get teary-eyed about it because studying in church for most of my life, right? We follow these religions and we read a Bible and we hear these things that are taught to us for us to believe, but it's worthless if you don't have the faith to step out on it in whatever aspect it is, right? So that's why the Gus comes in space for me, because as I've journeyed along this line, I understand that I've always believed in God. And then there's the universal principles. And then spirit was always part of what I was taught in the church. And that's probably what's driving everything that I do anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Whether
So
in a formal religion,
almost,
in a church, or just, following your intuition, whatever it is, whatever you're calling it, when you listen, when you listen,
and
amazing
trust
things happen.
and
Mhm.
trust. Because
Mhm.
it's one thing to listen. I don't want to get this into a whole religious, spiritual thing, but it's one thing to listen, because I hear things all the time. It's the trusting part. It's
Yes.
the trusting part. And you always hear everything is often about have faith, trust your intuition,
Yeah.
trust that gut feeling.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
most of us don't know how to hear what we're hearing and then take action on it. And I believe that when something is dropped in my head, do you remember when I went through this? That was a phase for me for a while. When something's dropped in your head, you need to take action on it. So,
It's true. It's very true. And it's so interesting. Like right now, I'm in the process of writing a book about women and intuition and how, much it can really change our lives. And I think it's such an important part because we've been taught not to listen. We've been taught not to listen, right? Because we're much easier to control if we follow the rules and we do the things that other people tell us to do. And
now
so,
when you say taught not to listen, I want
mhm,
you to expand on that because we think that we're being taught to listen.
yes, but we're not, right? Because every time, just think about children when they say something and then we pay no attention to them, right? They could say, I don't want to kiss that person, or I don't want to hug that person, or I don't want to, or yeah, whatever it is. We
Because
don't
they
listen
can
to kids.
feel the energy.
They can feel that energy.
Uh,
And then as you start to get older, the schools will tell you what you should think and what you should do and how you should behave. And then, especially as women, we're told we're not smart enough. We don't know enough. We refer to our parents, we refer to our bosses, we refer to our doctors. How many times have you felt in your body that something is not right and you go to a medical doctor and they're telling you everything's fine and you know it's not fine, or your child is sick and you know there's something wrong and they're saying everything's fine, and we're taught that somebody else knows more than we do. And so when we can start to tap back in and start to listen, we have that understanding that comes with that. What one of the reasons that they do that though, because it makes it easier as a society if everybody stays in line, if everybody does what they're supposed to. And so that's why we have this. And so we have to step out of it, which is not easy to do, right? It's not easy to step out of alignment with the rest of society, to step into alignment with your own power. It's not easy to do. And so I want to help women do that because it's amazing what can happen when you do.
yeah,
Absolutely amazing.
that's huge, Larissa. And especially women of a certain age. You see me over here fanning and having the moment. There is so much that has been lost about this,
Yes.
never been explored or touched on or taught to us about this moment right here. And this moment, menopause, you all, um, can be perimenopause, menopause itself, and postmenopause. And it can last like 20 years. And because we are part of a patriotic society where everything has been studied based on mankind versus with feminine and masculine energy, we got left out. But
Yeah.
now that there's 50% of the population going through this, or will be, it's starting to be more of interest. Sorry, so you guys, I'm a fan right now.
Yeah. Well, I think too, it's the ease of information. We don't have to rely on somebody else who knows better. We can find out information on our own. We can talk to people all over the world about a common issue or you know, interest, whatever it is, right? My OBGYN is a woman. I asked her questions about perimenopause when I was going through that. And she told me they were absolutely not symptoms of that. And I'm like, really?
Exactly.
Because I've talked, and she's a woman. And I said, I've talked to so many women who say it is. Listen to yourself, listen to other women. Women have been left out of the conversation for so long that our medical systems don't know best for us, our governments don't know best for us, the people in charge don't know best for us. And so we
Absolutely.
have to come together because we know what's best for us, whether you're a woman, whether you're a person of color, whether you're whatever sets you apart from the patriarchal society, then those we need to come together and share that information because we are unique individuals in a collective, and there's we're all being judged by this tiny little um,
Chromosome.
focus group, it's like,
Like a chromosome.
yes, yes. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And so when we think about bringing it back to business, when we think about being a woman in business and all the things that we've been taught about how to do things, it's very masculine energy, the pushing, the manipulating, all of these different things. And it doesn't feel good for a lot of us. It doesn't resonate with us. And as someone who coaches women with online heart-centered businesses, so that's your healers, your artists, your life coaches, spiritual people, we do things differently, or we want to be doing things differently. And so that's why, well, that's how this came about. And so amazing women like yourself, Cheryl, who are doing things differently, that's what I want to share. That's what I want to share with other women, to know they don't have to do it that way. There are other options.
It takes a lot of deprogramming. Is that a word?
Yeah, yeah.
Deprogramming so that we understand that we can. And I can think back to some of the conversations that we've had along the way where I had to really do deprogramming on myself because I was in an IT role in corporate America, Fortune 500, 100 type companies, full of masculine energy, right? And I had to fight all the time. And so when I went into my business, there were many times that I was like, I gotta make this happen. This is gonna happen. I'm gonna make it successful or whatever, right? Instead of being like, let me just sit with this and see and trust and share with the world. And if they come into it, then it's going to be okay.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
It's such a shift in energy and perspective that is often difficult for us to process because we have been brought up and brought through a system that is very much masculine energy.
yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely. Yep.
especially women that are bold enough to step out and run their own business, the women that are confident enough to do it, is because part of our training has been from that masculine energy. But we don't want to be that way. We just want to be loving and caring and help other people succeed.
Hmm. It's,
So,
it's so true that you say that too, because I come from oil and gas, right? You can't get much more masculine than that. And I like most of the women were secretaries, or I was in management, and because I did project management. So it was very much that masculine energy. And and so yeah, I think there's something to that. You either get to the point where you can't work anymore and you're looking for something different, or you have that sort of push from the masculine energy to empower you, that you then are like, yeah, but I want it to be different. I want it. And but it is just talking about, and we've talked about this a lot over the years, the healing work that you have to do to be able to move forward in the more feminine energy, because it's the balance, right? You need both sides, but we don't have a lot of the feminine energy. And so the balance that we have to bring in is so much internal. work that we have to do to be able to excel in this realm.
That is a critical part of the process. And we hear about this typical entrepreneur journey, but until you hear it from the feminine side, you may not completely understand what it's like as a woman. More often than not, it's because we hit a wall where we're into what I've characterized, once I learned it on YouTube or TikTok or somewhere, it was YouTube for me, the dark night of the soul, right? It's when you either hit burnout, heartache, struggle of some sort, and you finally say, okay, enough is enough. I know that I am uniquely chosen to do something, whether it's empower women, to coach, to create a yoga studio or whatever it is, and then to be bold enough to do it. But that dark night of the soul experience, that journey will propel you forward so that you learn to do the work. And the work is really about personal growth, self-love, and self-care.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And I think for most of us, when we come into this, we're like, well, we have the skill set, we can do this. And we take that masculine energy and we push and we try to force it into something. And as we realize that's not working, and this was very much for me, so that even in my business here, I burnt out completely a year or so ago, and I had to restructure everything around that. And I get incredible wake up calls, really painful wake up calls whenever I push too much. And it's my reminder to step back. And so when I do, and I can step back and stop giving or stop trying to control everything, everything just becomes so much easier. And it's just like, oh, why wasn't I doing this? I know these things. Why wasn't I doing this? And so yeah, it's such an important part. Such an important part.
It is. And self-care is really a significant part of it for us, right? Because while we think that burnout only no, that's not even a true statement, but burnout does occur in corporate America. It occurs a little bit faster as an entrepreneur because a solopreneur puts our whole body, mind, and soul into it. And it's important to make sure that you take care of yourself on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, whether it be through bath time, or I just came from the spa, had a nice lunch, and came to sit with you. But it's doing those special things that will remind you that all of the hard work that you're doing needs to be celebrated. And I'm smiling like this because that wasn't one of my things. I was like, no, I'm not celebrating yet. It's not the big thing yet. It's the little things that need to be celebrated.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And finding people that align with you, that are on the same path with you. Like we've been in the same mastermind for a few years now and become good friends. And you need those people who understand what you're going through. You need those people who, like, we all have different businesses, although there's quite a bit of alignment. You need those people who understand the journey, that understand the work, the personal work that needs to be done. They understand, you can have a day where you're just like, I'm worthless and I don't even know why I do this, but it's not who you are. It's a moment. And then they're there to prop you up, to get you through the moment so that you can move on to, what you know to be true. And it's so important. It's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's many times when I'll say, I'll do like this to you and say, let me look in your eyes.
She does.
See how you doing.
So if I show up with a really wacky idea, I'm always like, look at my eyes. I think this is a good one.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
This weekend is one of those weekends for me where I've launched the marketing. You were the first one out there. Did you see it?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I've launched the marketing for Masterclass 11/11/2023. Women and Wellness, Healing Body, Mind, and Soul. It's a
Yeah.
heck of a title. But you all, when we do those summits, they're no joke. The work behind each one of those things that we do takes a lot of work. So when you launch, you should take a moment to celebrate, to relax. So when we wrap this up, I'm gonna go sit down. I might go to sleep after I post
Yeah.
because it's a lot of work. It
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, it really is.
I
And I'm
say that
excited.
all the time too. Like entrepreneurship is not for the weak at heart, but it is worth every minute of it.
Yeah.
Every
It's
minute.
worth the hard work. And I don't mean the hard work as in you have to like work long hours and push hard. I mean the hard work of the personal work you have to do. That's the hard work. The rest can come easily if you do the personal work. The business is hard if you don't do the personal work. Put the energy into the personal work and let the business be easy.
Talk about the personal work though, Larissa, because you and I know what that means, but what does that really mean? Because many people don't understand when I'm saying do the work and
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about the personal work.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's your mindset, right? Your mindset and what you think about how you move in the world, about how you show up, about being seen, about money. This is a big one for women, how we value
How you,
ourselves.
yeah.
Yeah, because we're not valued in society. And then if you add a skin tone that's not valued as well on top of being a woman, or in my case, a diverse culture, being gay, whatever it is, the value, I'm neurodiverse. So I've been told my whole life I'm difficult and, you know, all of the things, not living up to my potential. And you have to work through all of those value pieces. And that work is never done. It's never done.
It is an ongoing process.
It is an ongoing process. It gets easier, sort of,
Just
you know,
because you understand that it is.
yes, you understand you're in the process of it. I can see when I'm in a transition. I can see when I'm working through something because everything becomes a struggle. And you're like, why is this so hard? All right, I'm transitioning. I'm transitioning. And so when you put that energy into your own healing, your own personal work to be the best possible you and show up the best possible way in the world for you, not somebody else's idea of what the best possible you is. Put the energy into that. And then the business pieces are relatively easy. The answers come to you, right? It's so true. And you're
Don't
laughing because
believe
you
you
know it's
guys.
true, Cheryl. You
No,
get
no, no. Don't believe you all because it's not that easy. Larissa is gifted in what she does. And so there's oftentimes other people in our mastermind, and I will ask Larissa, so how did you do that? But it does get simpler.
okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
It's
Yes.
simpler because
Yes.
you
For
start to
instance, a
see,
summit is a lot of work.
yeah,
Yes.
I don't know how you guys talk me into these things. Um,
Has
but when
amazing
you're
results.
in alignment with what you're doing, it just feels good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it feels good to feel good because so many of us struggle every single day just to be happy.
Yeah.
Right. And then when you can do that little happy dance because you created the website, you've invited people to join you, and it feels good that you could potentially change the lives of thousands of women. It's amazing. It
Mhm.
really is.
Yeah. Yeah. Cheryl, I've loved our conversation. I'm so glad you're my first guest
Me
and so happy. Um, and I'm gonna direct people to Master Class 1111 because this is the third year. Third year?
The third year.
Yeah, and I've been a speaker every time. So that's coming up on November 11th, and it releases November 11th.
So we have a panelist discussion
Yep,
on November
in my
11th.
calendar.
You see me.
It's in my calendar.
We have a panelist discussion on November 11th at 11 a.m. Eastern time. And that'll be an hour long. I tried to make it not too complicated. Originally, I was like, it's an hour and 11 minutes long. We're going to say it's an hour long. And what we would love for you to do is come with some questions. So once you register, reply to that email and give us some questions to ask the panelists. The panelists include Larissa, as well as doctors, naturopaths, healers, medicine women, nutritionists, Reiki masters, general entrepreneurs that have been through some journeys, and then of course mindfulness.
Mhm. Yeah,
Right. So
it's gonna be good. Yeah, it's excellent. And that was one of your downloads that you got, right? That was one of the messages you got. And even this year, you're like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, yes, you do know. Yes, you do know. And here we are.
here we are. Yes, we are. So you guys can register, people can register at masterclass1111.com.
And I will have the link as well.
1111.com.
Yes, because we were supposed to be live. And anyway, so this will be up today. We'll be semi-live because I'm not editing or showing up.
Yay, because we get to be who we are, right? And that's the beautiful thing about doing what we
I
do.
want. That's what I want.
You said to tell a funny story, and I'm going to tell one real quick. You said many. One of the funny stories about becoming an entrepreneur is realizing that I get to make the decisions, right? One day, I don't remember who it was, but you guys were like, hey, you realize you get to decide on that, right? It was like taking a day off or something. And I was really struggling with it because in corporate America, you just couldn't do that. And you all were like, you're the boss. Go on vacation and do what you want to do. And I was like, oh my God, I am. Right.
That's right. You wanted to go away with your friends.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, but I have to work. What?
Take your laptop. Right. Yeah. So
it's so true. It's so true. I love that story too. Yes. I remember that one. I remember that one. Well, thank you so much, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And I just want to say to everyone listening, if you're a woman interested in aligning your heart-centered business with your ethics, values, and life goals, join our Aligned Business Building Mastermind. And we have so many amazing women that want to share what they do with you and how they do it. And we do a lot of accountability, and you make amazing friends. And we have 90% off your first month. So creativeviewbusiness.com, aligned business building, and the coupon is aligned 90. You will find that below. So thank you, everyone. And I will see you next time on the Aligned Ambition Show. Thank you,
Thank you, Larissa.